vlog is to share a little bit about Parinirvana Day in Buddhism, which is celebrated on different dates. And although some traditions celebrate this earlier in February, 15th of February is regarded as one of the dates. And it's a special day in the Buddhist calendar celebrating the death of the historical one known as the Buddha. And that historical death he is said to have achieved nirvana or parinirvana. Generally, in Buddhism, this is not considered a day of mourning, but it's intended to be a day of reflection and to remember the impermanence of life, and that suffering is caused by our own desires, and the time for meditation and to contemplate the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path that can lead to enlightenment and liberation. So it's a profound day for Buddhists all over the world. And as I said, the dates vary, and so do the celebrations and rituals and practices that are observed. Parinirvana means complete nirvana. It's the enlightened state one experiences when one dies. Because in many philosophies and religions, it's considered that the soul may continue after the body dies or passes on. So why should we be bothered about Parinirvana Day, or Nirvana Day as it's often called? Well, there are three things that came to mind for me, and I want to share these with you and just see what resonates for you. One of the reasons that Buddhism appeals to me is that it is not a religion. It's considered a philosophy. And the historical Buddha did not want to be revered as a god, and that appeals to me. It was about being. And although Buddhism has some rituals and practices such as offering food, these are done in a very practical way. Many years ago, I was on a trip to Sri Lanka where I visited many Buddhist temples and sites. And in a very large city, we visited one temple. And it had, in the outdoors, a square altar with lots of food and flowers on it. And there were seats all around it. And the seats were filled with people who were chanting, meditating, and when they'd finished doing that, they'd take their offerings of food or flowers that they had bought, and they'd offer them around to people, and there were a lot of tourists there. And I was a bit unsure about whether to take something when I was offered some food, and the guide who was with me said, no, you should take it. It would be considered rude if you didn't. So for me, it just felt really practical. And it also felt very, considerate and loving that this food is not going to waste. It's something that they share with people. And while Buddhists do come together, Buddhism for me lacks the pomp and ceremony that I found in the organised religions that I know of and were made to grow up with as a child. Being made to confess has this judgment element to it, doesn't it? This idea that we are unworthy and undeserving and we have to go through this process. But having quiet time to consider and meditate on and with your own soul, to discover your own true feelings, that completely appeals to me and has none of the undeserving and unworthiness that often comes with the organised religion that I grew up in. But this idea of Buddhism for reflection and contemplation feels totally nourishing and nurturing to me. And if you compare Parinirvana Day, we'll call it Nirvana Day, it's easier, with other religious festivals that I know of in the Western world, the ones we have in the Western world have become full of consumerism. And to have this one day that is devoted to being thoughtful reflection, to have quiet time, contemplation and meditation, well, that's something I would say we need more of in the world. And if you would like to experience a snippet of that quiet contemplation and meditation, I have recorded Meditation for Peace, and you'll find the link around this vlog so you can listen to that and have your own quiet time and quiet contemplation. Thanks for watching.